Welcome to Personal Injury Marketing Minute.
Welcome to the Personal Injury Marketing Minute with Lindsay Busfield, where we quickly cover the hot topics in legal marketing world. Lindsay Busfield is Vice President and Partner at Optimize My Firm. I'm Evan Mack, and today we're talking about traffic versus cases and what actually matters when it comes to law firm marketing. Lindsay, my dear, how are you? Welcome.
I'm doing great, Evan. Great to have you. Really great to be on this side of the interviews for for the podcast.
Awesome stuff. So Lindsay, this is something we hear all the time. Firms talking about traffic, rankings, impressions, and all that jazz, but how often do these numbers actually translate into signed cases?
So it's interesting when you're looking at website traffic because this is one of the favorite KPIs that we're looking at in the marketing industry. And it's something that attorneys, where if they don't really know where that traffic is coming from and they just see the highs and the lows in it, it can really just start to panic and go, oh my gosh, my website traffic is down, my cases must be going down with it, or why is my website traffic up but my caseload isn't going up as well. And that's because website traffic is kind of a misnomer, and you can have website traffic going to pages that are popular pages. They might have some really great information on them, but they aren't necessarily transactional pages. So if somebody is looking for an answer to a question like what's the statute of limitations in Ohio for a car accident, they could be just looking for general information and not necessarily be looking to hire an attorney. And this can even go further where if you have a page on your website that doesn't have a whole lot to do with the cases that you handle. For example, we worked with a law firm out in Florida, and their previous SEO agency had written a ton of information about sinkholes. Well, sinkholes is going to get a lot of traffic because people are interested in that information, but it doesn't have anything to do with personal injury. So they saw huge jumps in their website traffic, but absolutely flatlined in terms to their cases. So, no, website traffic does not always translate as a good metric for establishing how many cases you can be expecting coming in over the month.
So Lindsay, where do you see firms getting, misled by their own marketing data? What looks good on paper but doesn't actually move the business forward per se.
Well, and website traffic is a big piece of that. So if you again see those big jumps in website traffic, but it doesn't necessarily go, it's not necessarily going to translate into more cases. And there are some other metrics out there that people look at with their overall keyword count of, what's ranking and where, or they might see a jump in their keywords from page 7 to page 4. That's not necessarily going to lead to any more cases because whether you're on page 7 or page 4 of Google's search results, nobody's finding it yet. So, yes, you want to see the needle moving, but you want to see it moving in meaningful ways. So, as you're looking at your monthly report or whatever quarterly report it is that you're looking at with your marketing metrics, you want to make sure that you are looking at the website traffic for and also looking at it with an eye of what the most trafficked pages are. And then maybe flag some of the most important pages on your website, like your contact page, your home page, your car accident page, or any other relevant case types that you're looking at to sign more cases, and see if there's any more traffic going to those specific pages as opposed to your website traffic overall.
When a firm is getting a lot of traffic though and not seeing that growth, what are the first places you look to kind of figure out why that's happening?
So the first place I look is what pages are bringing in the website traffic.
Mhm.
Are they relevant to the law firm? And if they're not, then your SEO agency or your in-house SEO team needs to be putting more pressure behind the pages that are actually going to be converting into cases. And if it is those important pages, if it's those parent pages or your contact page, then maybe take a look at how those pages flow. Are those pages designed to convert the people who are visiting into signed cases? And if it's not flowing well, then that's a problem that needs to be addressed and by your web team. So to make sure that everything is in line with best practices for lead conversion. And if those leads are converting, if people are picking up the phone and calling, but they're not turning into signed cases, then we need to look at the intake team and see if there are any issues with your intake, because they are essentially your sales team. And if they aren't closing, then we need to find out why. And whether it's because these are unqualified leads that are coming in, or if your intake team is really having a tough time converting and getting these cases signed, then that's where we need to look in this pipeline.
How much does the intent behind the traffic matter? What separates someone who just browsing from someone who's actually ready to hire?
That's a really great question because there really are two types of searchers out there. There are people who are looking for information. And again, that's going to be looking for basic things. How long do I have to file a claim if I'm in a car accident? Or what is the statute of limitations? Or who can I sue? Versus I'm ready to hire an attorney right now. Who is the best attorney in my area? And how do I vet an attorney? How do I pick the best attorney for me? So those are two very different types of searches. So that intent is a huge piece of it. And AI has really been impacting those informational searches. So the people who are looking just for an answer. They're not in the mindset to pick up the phone and call anybody, but they just need to get some basic information. And AI has done a really great job of presenting that information in an easily digestible way where you can get a quick answer. And so that has led to a decline in overall website traffic for a lot of attorneys because it is creating a zero click opportunity for the users who are looking for that information. And then you have the people who are looking for that transactional search. So this is the same amount of people who've always been looking to hire an attorney that are still coming to your website, finding out information, and those are the people that you really want to be attracting. So it's important to have information on your website, both for the informational searches so that you're eligible to show up in AI, but you also want to make sure that your transactional pages are really robust and have the information that somebody needs to know when they're looking to hire an attorney.
Where's the content fit into that? What makes the difference between content that attracts the right cases and the content that just brings in volume?
Your content is huge. So when it comes to SEO and getting your law firm out in front of people on Google, your content is the backbone of all of this. Google doesn't know who you are unless you have good content on your website. They're not going to be able to cite you as a source unless you have answers to questions that people are asking. And it needs to be written in a way that is both helpful for the humans that are searching for the information as well as formatted in a way that Google can understand what the answer is. And this is especially true now with the AI because they are very particular in what they're looking for. And it's become very competitive amongst law firms that have really similar information. And it's going to come down to the quality of the information and how unique the information is and how well it's formatted. So having all of those pieces together for your content is huge.
What are some common issues though you see on a law firm's website that quietly hurt the conversions? Even when the traffic's strong, though, Lindsay.
So a lot of it is having the wrong information on the page. And that doesn't mean that they have misinformation, but they don't have enough robust information in their content that's answering the questions that people are actually asking. And it needs to be written in a way that's unique. So some of the biggest problems that we see are thin content where, yeah, they kind of answer a question, but they don't go into much depth in that answer, or they aren't answering enough questions. They aren't taking off their lawyer hat and putting on their prospective client hat when they are developing the content. They need to think through the process. They need to think through the pain points of their prospective clients and make sure that they are answering the questions and addressing any concerns that somebody might have as they're going through and doing the research before they're hiring an attorney.
So when you're working with a firm, how do you measure whether marketing is actually working beyond just those traffic numbers?
The biggest measure is their phone ringing, and they will let us know if it's not. And this is one of those things that we do have to look at the data. We have to look at those most important pages, the car accident page, the home page, the parent pages for the different case types to make sure that those pages are getting the traffic that we expect to see, that they're ranking well on Google. Ideally, our clients are wanting to be in one of the top positions on Google if somebody is looking for car accident attorney in Boston. We want to make sure that our clients are showing up in a way that is going to be easily accessible for prospective clients so that our clients get found first before they find the competition. So, looking at the position that they're ranking for certain keywords and looking at the traffic for those most important pages. But the bottom line is if your phone isn't ringing with relevant cases that you want to sign, then something's not going right.
So for firms that have been focused on traffic for a long time, what's that first shift they need to make if they want better results?
They need to be looking at the traffic and making sure that they are understanding what the traffic means and where the traffic is coming from, where it's going to, and identify any problems along the road. Yes, if your traffic takes a total nosedive, then there could be some reasons behind that. And one is because of AI. If it is informational users that are no longer navigating to your site and they're getting the information they need off of AI answers, then that could be a big explanation. But really understanding what pages are losing traffic can help you understand why traffic is going away, and then developing a content strategy to combat that so that more users are coming back for those transactional pages and that they are, in result, hiring you as an attorney to represent them in their case.
So if a firm wants to grow strategically, how should they think about aligning their marketing, with the types of cases they actually want?
So we want to make sure that we're developing content that is reflecting the types of cases that they want. So most personal injury attorneys are wanting the car accident cases, truck accidents, wrongful death, anything that is going to have a high injury level, as well as be able to uh, have insurance that can pay out for it. So those are kind of the bread and butter cases. So as you're developing your content strategy, the types of pages that you're wanting to write are going to be really robust, highly local content that is built around those car accidents, truck accidents, wrongful death, any sort of fatal accidents, but also those high impact injury cases that create life altering injuries for the victims.
Good stuff, Miss Lindsay. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
That wraps up this episode of Personal Injury Marketing Minute. If you want to learn more about Lindsay Busfield and the team at Optimize My Firm, you can visit optimizemyfirm.com. Thank you so much for listening, and be sure to like, leave a review, and subscribe to the show so you don't miss the next episode. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.